Lockdown, Chapter 17, page 117. Our cook, Griffin, gave us broiled franks, sauerkraut, mashed potatoes, peas, juice, ice cream, cookies, and fruit for lunch. Broiled franks are like 100% better than boiled franks. It was like we were at a ballpark or something and having real life instead of prison life. Griffin must have hit the lottery or something, Diego said. Maybe they're going to execute us this afternoon and this is our last meal, Leon said. I wish I had said that. Play said when he got out he was never going to have franks again. Every time I look at a frank, it reminds me of my life, he said. Ain't nothing to it. I knew how he felt, and I told myself that I wasn't going to have franks again either. In the afternoon, the maintenance crew was cutting down some trees, and we tried to have a class, but it didn't work. With the windows open, it was too noisy, and with the windows closed, everybody was falling asleep. Mr. Wilson wanted to know if we wanted to play ball or just hang out in the day room until supper. I didn't want to do either, but I ended up in the day room watching television. I was checking out what was on the tube, but my mind was back in the group thing we had had. People were talking about what they were scared of, and I knew that it wasn't for real. You didn't just come out and start laying out your program to people like that. You had to say something cool, which everybody did, except for Toon. Toon was afraid that his parents weren't going to like him. I remember them yelling at him on the visiting day, and when I played it back in my head, I remembered they were looking around to see who was checking them out. They wanted everybody to know that they were better than Toon. I wondered if my mom thought she was better than me. I was most afraid that my whole life was going to be about being in places like Progress. I had heard about people going to jail, getting out for a minute, then just going back. One teacher told us that for some people, being in jail was better than being free because you got 3 hots and a cot. That was bull. But I could see how easy it would be to mess up again. Willis was on the street. I knew he could get caught doing something any day. On the street, you did anything to get over. If you had something going on, maybe some college, or if your family had a lot of money, then maybe you could follow a good path. But if you didn't have nothing going on, then it was going to be hard just to squeeze yourself from one day into the next. Mr. Pugh said that most guys ended up coming back. I didn't like his ass, but I thought he was probably right. My bid wasn't too heavy, but I knew how easy it was to get a ton of time if I blew it again. Play came over and sat near me. He was looking across the room and shaking his head like he does sometimes when he's mad. Yo, Reese, Diego and Sanders are getting their heads together, Play said. I think they're planning on starting something. I scoped out King Kong and Diego talking. Diego lifted his head like he could feel my eyes on him or something and stared at me. I gave him the finger and looked away. If they start something, I got your back, man, Play said. Play talked hard, but I had never seen him do anything. I thought he was in my corner, but that didn't mean anything unless he was going to stand up when the bell rang. Mr. Wilson came over and sat near us. Me and Play bumped fists and went back to watching some girl on television saying that her ex-boyfriend was her baby's father. Now, why would she get on television and lay out her business like that? Mr. Wilson asked. I think that's stupid and demeaning. And what? I asked. Isn't stupid and what? Demeaning, Mr. Wilson said. That means it makes you look bad. Don't you think she looks bad talking about how she's going with one guy now, but she went with this guy a year ago, and he's the baby's father? Yeah, Play said. But the guy running around the stage like he did something to be proud of, I said. He's smiling and going on. The guy was saying that Baby couldn't be his because he had a big head, and that Baby had a little head and his nose wasn't right. The whole thing was sick. But it came to me that it wasn't real either. It was like they were putting on a play, and everybody was supposed to be entertained. Play laughed at the guy and the girl, and Mr. Wilson laid out his serious lines as usual. I was just thinking that I had to sit and watch this crap because I didn't have anything else to do in progress but watch the time go by. My life wasn't any more real than those clowns on television. My lights were still going out at 8:30, and I was lying on my bed when Diego came at my door. "You hear the news?" he asked. "Deepak is going to fight Sanders this weekend. It's all arranged. That little Indian is going to be killed." They were setting me up. Diego knew I had defended Toon before when Kobo got on him. Now he was fixing it up between me and King Kong. I told myself I didn't care. If Toon couldn't handle his business, that was on him. I thought about telling Play to see what he would do, but in my heart, I knew Play had to be pushed too hard to make a move. I couldn't get to her, but Cat was the person I really needed. Really, Toon needed Cat.